everyone. This is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today I have Yanik Silver on the call, and I am so excited that you're here. Hi, Yanik.
Hi, Karen.
I am talking to Yanik because we are doing an event on how to help scale and grow your business online and offline strategies. And Yanik is someone that I've known for a really long time, and he's just amazing. And I wanted to talk about what he's up to. And really, the entire concept of today's conversation is going to be all about how to grow and scale your business and still do good in the world, and still help your favorite causes, and still scale on a much larger scale and do right in the world while you're still living here. And we're going to be talking about examples of that. And I think it's so important as you're growing and you're scaling, you're trying to figure out how to market your business and get out there. Some of you guys have things that really matter to you, and some of you guys have things that really touch your soul. And those are things that people tend to ignore in business because they're so busy trying to figure out how to make money. But Yanik wrote a book and has been talking about how you can merge those two to really scale and grow your business. And so I'm so excited to talk about that today. But before we do that, I know Yanik because I am part of his Maverick group. And Mavericks is a Mavericks 1000. That's the appropriate title. And Mavericks is a group where, you call, I don't know what you call them, high-level entrepreneurs come together, and we travel and we learn and we help and we give back. And that's part of the, and he can explain further what Mavericks is all about. But how long have you had Mavericks for? How many years?
I think 11 or 12 years now.
11 or 12 years. And let's talk about Mavericks, because I just think it's a wonderful group. So if anyone loves to support the planet and to do good things and to travel and to play and to meet amazing entrepreneurs and so forth, really top level people, Mavericks is a great group for that. So I have been part of that group for a very, very long time. Love the group. And then from there, during that time, I got to know Yanik. He used to put on an event called Underground, which is an internet marketing event for many, many years. All the top internet marketers will go to this internet marketing event. So he knows, selling stuff online very, very well. And then now he's transitioned into this new company of his where it's all about merging, again, scaling your business and supporting and so forth. So Yanik, you want to talk about who you are, why you know what you're talking about, even though I said a lot? I really wanted to just kind of intro you and to tell you why I'm so excited you're here.
Yeah, well, thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. And it's been awesome having you in our world and get to know you as well. And we have some funny stories. I don't know if we'll get time for that, but we'll see.
No funny stories. Stories out.
So yeah, just by way of background, I think the easiest way to explain it is started in copywriting, working with my dad and growing his medical equipment sales and service company. And so I got a lot of experience super early, actually 14 years old, telemarketing, 16 out on the road cold calling, realized cold calling sucked. And one of my doctors gave me a J. Abraham tape, and that's how I learned about direct response marketing. So I've been at this for a while, learning, and then the internet came along. I'm like, wow, this is really fascinating. And then I did really well selling my own stuff. And then people are like, well, how did you do that? Could you teach me? Which turned into me selling information and content, helping people take their own knowledge and sell it. And then the Underground, like you mentioned, and then about 11 years ago or so, I just asked a really simple question, which is, am I happy? Would I be happy doing what I'm doing for 10 more years? And because on the outside looking in, super successful, but the real answer was no. Like, I just thought there's so much more and a greater impact for more entrepreneurs. And so that whole journey started Maverick, which is really about growth, impact, and joy, that combination of the three. And during that time, been able to meet some really interesting icons and people in the entrepreneurial space, and some super well-known and others that are not as well-known. And it really put together the pieces of this puzzle, which is Evolved Enterprise.
Yeah, I mean, we've been to Necker Island together, Richard Branson's Necker Island together a few times. How many years have you been going to Richard's Island?
11 years that we've been putting on events there.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they are spectacular events. So if you ever
and
have
Richard
an opportunity to hang out with Richard, it's pretty spectacular. It's a really amazing experience, and you've become pretty close to him over the years, just because.
Yeah, well, Richard's a really good example of this because he lives this in a lot of ways, but it's not new for him because he started off in a student magazine that he did, I think in high school, which was all about social issues. So he's always been about making a difference. And then, as he's grown in the world and all his companies, like there's always some element of impact in what they do. And it's interesting, like a conversation we had a bunch of years ago, he said that, the old way was you make a lot of money and then you spend the second half of your life giving it back. And now the new way is really, it's integrated, it's intermeshed. And this is what's really exciting about this concept for really any business owner, is you can connect your head, which is your business side, your marketing mind, along with your heart, which is the impact that you want to make in the world, or that your customers want to see in the world, along with your higher purpose. Like, why are you here? Like, what's your reason? And then when you align that, that's when things really take off, and it's super exciting. And then, through the leverage of especially the internet, and as you've been sharing with your customers and clients, like that's when the magic can really happen, where a company can go from like a little small thing to exploding, and then the impact side of it is really like a turbocharger for them.
So before we get into turbocharge and how to turbocharge, like when did this start shifting for you, when you started seeing that there was some marriage between, look, I'm doing all this stuff online, making the money, I'm doing all these things, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing enough. And like, what kind of causes, like what triggered you? Like, how did you come to this? Did you read what's that book, the Babylon book, where they start
Alchemist.
spending 10% of your,
Oh yeah, the
where
rich
did this
man
come
in
from? Because a
Babylon.
lot of internet marketers start by, they're reading these books on, what was that book? What's the name of that?
The
I don't know.
richest man in Babylon.
Richest Man in Babylon. And like in this book, if you haven't read it, the essence of it is this guy talks about how he got so rich, and
Yeah,
he gave away a percentage of his
and
blah, blah,
pay
blah. And
first.
that's how it's, a lot of internet marketers go that right. Like, is that where it came from, or is it just like always been in you? Like, what shifted? I'm really curious.
I don't know exactly if I can point to like one spot. I can point to a few things that I saw happening that I always included. So, you mentioned the underground. Before the underground, so the underground ran for 10 years. And before the underground, I put on an event called, it was like Yanik's 30th birthday bash. And we were just talking about birthdays and age. And so I'm coming up on 47. So, you can place that at 17 years ago. But my birthday's in September. I came up with the idea in like maybe August or something. So it was too late to do it for September. So I made it for January. And so a lot of people for a while thought my birthday was in January. And so, but it was my 30th birthday. And we had 500 some people at this event, which was a really big event for back in that day, probably one of the biggest. And we made it free. We made it a $50 donation to Make-A-Wish. And it wasn't like this ploy, like, okay, now, come in and get, like, I was just like, this would be a fun way of celebrating, having something to give to the marketplace. And then I got all my friends and buddies to come speak. And of course we sold some stuff there, and it, ended up being really, really profitable. But we raised $25,000 for Make-A-Wish. And that was like one of the first sort of pieces where it was like, oh, this is really interesting. And you can combine it in a way that you have integrity with all of them. And so I started seeing that. And then, these little pieces, because almost like as you evolve yourself, so part of the evolved enterprise framework starts with you. So when you evolve yourself, and that's a constant thing, right? Like, so we're always, I think, transforming and continuing to evolve and growing.
To be clear, he has a book called Evolved Enterprise.
Yes.
Which is the basis of this framework of what we're kind of talking about here. So I just want to clarify that as we're kind of getting into this framework of what that kind of looks like.
And this evolution is going to be, whether it's philosophical or just growing and really transforming and looking at yourself and what really is most meaningful to you. And then from that comes, what do you care about? Like, what's your greatest cause? And then out of that expands to, how does your product or service, the creation, actually support that? How do you build a community of fans that really love what you're doing and want to become zealots for it? And then how do you build a culture in your company? So all those pieces started coming together through those interactions. I think your life changes through the people that you meet, the books that you read, or the material you study, and the experiences that you have. And all those led to those little pieces.
That's awesome.